Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now if you've been watching my channel, you realize I'm fairly new to firearms, but one thing I can tell you for sure, I have come to greatly enjoy my Ruger 10/22. Now I've been going through a little bit of an iteration, definitely learning about this, what works for me, how it is to shoot, and really enjoying getting into modifications. If there is anything you can say about the Ruger 10/22, it has a ton of aftermarket support, it's very easy to modify, and it's something that even if you're a novice, you can definitely get into. Now there's a ton of directions I could go, but today what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at a couple of things that are going to help with the overall shootability and enjoyability with this firearm. In prior videos, I actually was able to upgrade my mag release, which made a huge difference. Well, today, as you look here, my bolt release. At this point, it's the standard bolt release. You can't release it just with the lever. It's kind of a pain in the neck. You need to lean on it and do a bunch to get this to drop. So that's kind of a pain. We're going to take care of that. But also when you look at the trigger, they say this is around a 6-pound pull, roughly, maybe 6 to 8 pounds. It depends on what you see. Differing information out there. So we are going to upgrade this to the BX trigger. This reduces it to between 2 and 3 pounds. From what I can tell, they have a little graph on here. They're saying between 2 and 3 pounds for the trigger pull, but I kind of want to test it just a little bit. So in this video, we're going to take a look at this Wheeler Engineering trigger pull scale. Pretty affordable, pretty straightforward, and should give me some of these answers. And again, for that bolt release, we're going to take a look at this Volquartsen Firearms bolt release. So the automatic bolt release modification, I'm hoping all of this will go according to plan. It should be pretty straightforward, but there's only one way to figure that out, and that's to get into it. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. So again, my Ruger 10/22, absolutely awesome. I love this. I've had it built out a couple of different ways. I kind of mix and match and change it up from time to time depending on what I'm trying to do. But moving forward, there are some things that I definitely want to stay. As I mentioned, I've already made the upgrade to the mag release. That's been a game changer. But now this Volquartsen automatic bolt release. I think this is going to make a real nice addition to this firearm, but at the same time, swapping out the trigger. So what I'm going to do is actually disassemble the new trigger, so this BX trigger, get it outfit with the Volquartsen auto bolt release, and see if this is really a good opportunity and upgrade for me, which I do think it's going to be. And so first things first, going to get out this trigger pull scale. So again, Wheeler Engineering, I've used a few of their products so far, very good. I do like their products. They seem to be well made and very straightforward. Here you can see this actually was certified in looks to be July of 2021. That is the thing. Wheeler Engineering products are gunsmithing products, and they typically do come calibrated. And so as we get into this here, you can see the scale, everything from 8 ounces all the way to 8 pounds of pull for this particular scale. So on the factory trigger here, let's give this a try first and foremost. Okay, I know this is clear. I've already checked it. Safety off. Getting on this here, let's try to pull this. And that seems to break at about 5 1/4 pounds. So as we take a look at this here, it does look to be right around 5 1/4 pounds. Let's do that a second time. Just resetting this here, you can see, just slide that down. It does stop and just sort of indicate where this breaks. So we're going to do that again. Pull in here. This time it went to 6 pounds. So very interesting. Now, something worth noting, I think it is going to make a difference depending on where on the arm you actually pull. So for this test, I'm going to pull from the inside here just to get apples and apples. So as you can see here, burying this all the way down, and that's where it breaks. So 5 pounds, 5 3/4 pounds. Let's do that one more time. Pulling straight back. 5 3/4 pounds. So it really does depend on exactly how you pull. Pulling straight back here. There it is. 5 3/4 pounds. So that's what I'm going to call it. I think that's the most accurate if I'm really careful and pull straight back. So 5 3/4 pounds for the factory trigger on the Ruger 1022. So here, just going to drop out this trigger group. I've done this a few times now. It is pretty straightforward. Sliding out these pins. And here you go. So I am going to have to reinstall my mag release onto the new trigger group. So getting the BX trigger here. Now I have personally never done anything to disassemble a trigger group, but hopefully this is pretty straightforward. Now if you notice, this comes with what they're calling this hammer block. So if you press this down and pull the trigger, that hammer block prevents this from going too far and causing any damage. So they say do not dry fire this once you remove this hammer block, which here you can definitely pop this out. That's probably not the best, but that pops up at this point. And these are just slightly different. I think in mechanics, got to be just a little bit careful here. But taking a look at this, let's see. If I pull that trigger, no, that's about the same. So far these are very similar. I do want to take my time and make sure that I go through this very carefully as to not make any real mistakes. There are a few little things to pay attention to. I've done a little bit of research here and sort of watched some other videos just to make sure I don't make any mistakes. But now we're actually going to dig out this Volquartsen firearms. This is the automatic bolt release. You can see I got it here in black. Now I do need to use this punch and kind of push out some of these pins. Now, if you take a look here, you can see this spring right here on the inside. That needs to end up underneath that pin. So as I remove this here, that does spring out of place. And here, this is the extractor. Sliding that out. That needs to go right back into place. Down here, if I'm careful, this should allow me to remove my mag release and also my bolt release. So this coming out just like so. Just comparing the two here, you can see this is the little piece right here that prevents it from sort of automatically popping back. So getting this here and sliding this down and into place. Just depressing this real quick does allow my mag release to pop out. I'm actually going to do this in 2 steps just to make sure I can get everything aligned and not really mess anything up. All right, so just some things to consider. I did put this back together without swapping out my mag release just yet. First and foremost, the little nuances. So you got to be a little bit careful. I did find that you can see here my actual hammer and then the pin there got a little bit out of whack. If you're not careful, that can fall out. You just simply align this and push it back into place. Should be pretty straightforward. Now the next thing to pay attention to, you do need to be just a little careful to get everything aligned here. Now you can see I still have not put in my extractor just yet, but that's so you can see the benefit here. You do need to get, again, this spring back down and underneath here. And if you're not careful, the very bottom of it, which is going to be really hard for you to see, does seat down on a little stay. So right down and inside here, the bottom of the actual spring does need to be sitting right inside. There's a little notch. And then the top of it kind of back and underneath here. So that's all good. Takes a little bit just to wiggle this stuff back into place, but at this point, it's in pretty good shape. Now, last but not least, I now need to get my upgraded mag release out of here. Which, that's that. I'm going to clean it while I'm at it. Why put something dirty back in? So it does take a little bit, not too big of a deal. Again, make sure everything lands where it needs to. Reset that. Push this into place. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. So now my BX trigger ready to go with that upgraded mag release. Hopefully this will be a nice little upgrade. Let's give it a shot. And just real quick, putting my factory setup back together. So here you can see the factory trigger group all reassembled and in good shape. So we'll set this aside, and who knows, this may never be used again for all I know. These guns are very easy to work with. Once you've done this a couple of times, it just becomes very straightforward and actually very enjoyable to work on. Nothing too terribly technical, fairly straightforward for the most part. And here, there we go, little finger tightness. So now, back to the Wheeler trigger pull scale. We're going to zero this out, and we're going to pull literally straight back here. Oh man, 4.5 pounds. Pulling back here. 4.25 pounds. I mean, how does this actually feel? I mean, does it feel lighter? I don't know. Let's get this back in this little cradle here. This will allow me to dry fire just sitting here. I know this isn't going to be perfect, but I mean, just kind of trying to feel that break here. Hard to say. Man, it feels nice. I just don't really know if it's that much lighter. It's almost impossible to tell, to be completely honest with you. But now here, let's just say I was to lock this open. Okay. Now, oh, this is at least a major upgrade. So lock the action open. There you go. And now, there you go. The auto release definitely working well, so that's awesome. That makes me feel really good because that was a pain in the neck. So this is really easy now. That worked absolutely flawless. And so all in all, did I make an improvement? Well, I definitely made some improvements. I can tell you the automatic bolt release here, that's just sweet because, I mean, every time I'm at the range, there's a ceasefire. People need to literally go out into the field to swap out their targets. We literally open our chamber, remove the mag, open the chamber, weapons down, everybody does their thing, come back, range is hot, pop in that mag, we're off. That's awesome. Before it was like fiddling around and trying to get the thing to release, and it wasn't really all that smooth. So that's a big improvement. But now that trigger, well, actually, yeah, it's lighter. I mean, I don't know about the scale, but I can tell you just by feel, it's lighter, and that's going to be nice. So let's try that one last time just for good measure. Getting this on here, zeroed out, pulling straight back. That was 3.75 pounds. Let's try it one more time. Getting right on it there, straight back, braking. I'm going with 3.75 pounds. So is it lighter? It is. It's a couple pounds lighter, and you can definitely feel it. So the next thing for me is going to be getting this out to the range. Now, I already have a whole bunch of footage with the stock trigger and trigger assembly. But moving forward now, getting this BX trigger on here, let's get back to the range, do a little more shooting, but that is going to happen in a future video. And so keep an eye out for part 2 of this video, getting it out to the range, putting it to the test, seeing how it performs, and really if it feels like an upgrade for me. And if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is my primary channel. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, all the gear that goes with it. So from backpacks, sleep systems, knives, axes, flashlights, you name it, That's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.